And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all. You know, we don't have a game to recap because we ain't do none of that last week. We're on this bye week, so we take days like this to speculate, to theorize, and philosophize with y'all. And, you know, we ask questions back and forth. I'm Voch Lombardi. Thank y'all for being here. Shake my hand. This is Bryan Broaddus. We doing all right. We're doing just fine. Bryan.
Yes, sir.
Man, what's been on your mind, man? You say you had something on your mind. I wanted you to surprise me.
I do. Right off the jump, I'm going to get you with this one.
Please.
Right off the jump. Kind of all day long, we've been hearing news of San Francisco injury and sickness and roster depletion right now as we speak. Voch, does Mike McCarthy lose his job if he loses to a depleted San Francisco 49er team?
But boy, that's a tough proposition. That's a tough proposition, man.
I'll ask the question this way.
Yeah.
I'll ask it this way.
Please.
I'll ask it this way.
Yeah.
Does Mike McCarthy fall into danger of losing his job versus a banged up San Francisco club?
I tell you what, Bryan. If you only lose Deebo Samuel in that game, I feel a little better.
Mm-hmm.
If you only lose George Kittle in that game, I feel a little better. Brandon Ayuk is out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ain't wishing injury on nobody, but nobody gonna feel sorry for you.
McCaffrey's mom got mad at me one time for doing that. The whole state of California and 49er Nation got mad at me and Gavin Dawson for doing that. So it's a bad idea.
Bryan, I tell you what. If I'm the owner general manager, if my last name was Jones,
mm-hmm.
and I'm looking at my head coach and I say, man, look, we can't get over the hump with these dudes. Right. This is a hell of a hump. This has been a thorn in our ass the past couple of years. Boy, this is a fantastic opportunity to do it right here.
Right here.
It's a fantastic opportunity.
Right here.
You can only imagine that these games just keep getting tougher.
They will.
I think you got to move on from your head coach at that point.
Yeah.
Because then I think something mentally is going on, Bryan. You know what I mean? I think something mentally is going on. Right. Like these players didn't just roll out the bed one morning and didn't know how to play.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a real life thing. Something's keeping something from happening. There's something in the operation that's not working. And if you're rolling up against these characters and you can't figure out what's up with that operation, I don't think you're capable of doing your job, Bryan Broaddus. Now, it's interesting that you asked me this because I had some questions for you, Bryan Broaddus. And look, on my little Scantron, on my you definitely can't read this, but on my third one, I was like, man, the 49ers been looking phony. Them boys hurt. We'll break. Wait. Man, the 49ers looking phony, Bryan Broaddus, and we'll break them down later on in the week.
Yeah.
But do you think that with all the injuries that they're going through, do they lack confidence playing against the Cowboys? That's what I had written down here for you.
I don't think they lack any confidence playing against the Cowboys.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't. Not as long as Fred Warner's in there playing and all that. But I just feel like, and, you know, you're not likely going to be very healthy for this. I know all week long we're going to ask questions about if Parsons is going to play. And Parsons even came out today and kind of hinted around that it might not be possible. I asked around. Sounds like he's going to be with the medical staff this week. And if that's the case, I don't anticipate Parsons playing. We'll see if that changes. But the early indication on a Monday afternoon, Monday evening now, he's probably going to be like a limited guy or maybe even a DMP for this thing, for these practices.
Mm-hmm.
So my anticipation is, you're going to lose, you've lost a big piece there, but San Francisco's injury report looks far, far worse than yours.
Sure.
And if you, coming off a bye, can't find a way to move the ball, score points, and play defense against a team that's going to look, now their starting quarterback is very good. They've got an offensive line that's got some really good players on it as well. We'll break them all down here coming up, but with all their weapons being out, basically, if that's the case, you go out to Santa Clara and lose this game, you're right. Something fundamentally, and San Francisco might just say, screw it, we're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
We don't care. We don't have to throw it against you.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question about confidence, I think they're confident. I think it's a very scary proposition for Cowboys Nation to feel like that. Oh, damn, here we go. Got chances. No Samuel, no Ayuk, no
Sure.
McCaffrey, maybe no Kittle. Man, who are they going to throw out there?
Mm-hmm.
Hell, even Jennings is hurt.
Yeah.
And you go out there and play with your food, lose this game. That noise is going to be really, really loud for him.
Damn,
And
Bryan.
I worry about that for him. I really, really do.
Damn.
Especially if they don't come out of the bye looking any better than they have the first 6 weeks of the season.
Chris Conley, Ronnie Bell, Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing are the wide receivers that are going to roll out there, Bryan.
Cowing had a reception.
Yeah.
I think he had a 42-yard reception that was like the probability of the catch was like 43%. I was kind of just going through their big plays and, looking at the metrics on them. And, you don't tell me. And Ricky Pearsall is a good player. We saw him. Yeah. We saw him a bunch at Florida.
Yeah.
But don't let him have 12 targets and 10 receptions for $128 or some crap like that.
Sure.
Don't let him do that. But you go out there and fiddle fart around, play with your food, as I said, and lose this football game with potentially all their players being out. Yeah, there needs to be somebody will pay for that.
To double back on your question, Broaddus, let me just follow up. Voch says this. Let's just say Cowboys lose.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, let's just say Cowboys lose. Does the way in which they lose matter? If they lose a close fought slugfest, does that matter differently than the Cowboys getting blown out like we did last week or like we did versus the Saints or whatever? Do you think that, all right, well, maybe if they barely lose, Jerry will hold on for a week. But if they get whooped like they've been getting whooped, like what's the difference?
They get whooped, he's gone, but I still think lose is a lose.
Yeah.
Jerry, Steven, in their mind, they're fans. You know what I'm saying? They're fans right now on this. They're in front office, but they're fans where they're looking like, oh, that guy's gone. That guy's gone.
Sure.
That guy's gone. Yeah. Here we go. Let's go. Yeah. They're looking at this. You go out there and mess around and lose with the potential of all those guys being out. That is a very, very bad thing for Mike McCarthy. It's a very bad thing because this might be your best chance to kind of, and I was arguing with my guys today. They're like, well, if you beat the 49ers with all those guys being out, I'm like, I don't care.
It don't matter.
I don't give a rat's ass. Just let me win. Yeah. Just let me find. I don't care. I don't care if half their damn team's gone. Just let me win. That's all I care about. Let me win. Then let me figure out Atlanta, and then let me, because I got asked. We got asked this question today. And after this one, at San Francisco, at Atlanta, Philadelphia, Houston, at Washington. Okay. Look at the next 5 games. How many games do you think they win? My guys were all saying, like 1-4, 0-5. My guys, I'm thinking, if I could just be 500 right now, if I could find a way to, maybe you can, maybe those games, maybe those 5 games, you somehow go, 3-2, 4-1, that puts you right back in the mix of things.
Sure.
But you go 1-4 or 0-5. Come on, man.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree with you. I don't really care how the win happens. I'm just here
Yeah.
for the win. You just don't want to
Yeah.
be in such a hole that by the time you get to the end of the season, like look, let's just say that you're buying yourself some time and you're getting better every week and you figure it out week by week, but you're in such a hole that it doesn't matter. You're going to look back at this Niner game and look, it's unfortunate to you because you've lost a conference opponent in the Saints. You've lost a conference opponent versus the Lions. All this stuff is gonna haunt you later. So
sure.
So Brock Purdy ain't look, even if he ain't playing, that's still a good win for you because third seed, it could be different than the fourth seed. This game could creep up on you. But man, Bryan Broaddus, boy, man, I know I asked you earlier, do you think the 49ers got confidence?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this though, Brian. Do you think the Cowboys got a case of the heebie-jeebies? Or do you think that they see those guys injured now? What kind of Cowboy team do you think we're going to get? Voch says this. Do you think we're going to get a, hey, man, look, this our time. If it's the time to do it, let's come out on fire and take care of this right now? Or do you think the Cowboys have the heebie-jeebies and maybe they lack confidence because that's just the same old 49ers?
They need to go play like they did against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They need to go in there and don't let them run the ball and get after their ass when it comes to throwing that ball and cover on the outside. But that's Bland back. That's Carson potentially back. That's Diggs. They can't go in there and play piss poor on defense. But they need to go win this game. They need that Pittsburgh type effort that they had, where they were down men. They weathered a weather delay, played really hard, found a way to win it at the end. I don't even care about. I'm not caring about style points. I'm not. Just if it's a Aubrey field goal, Leofow safety, I don't care. I don't care. Just find a way to go. But you go out there and sleepwalk and let San Francisco get up like 17-3, without any of their stars. That ain't going to be good, bro. Mm-hmm. That confidence, there's nothing you're going to be able to say to those guys at halftime to make anybody feel any better about that.
Sure.
Because you need to go out there and jump on these guys.
Yeah.
And are you capable of doing it? Sure. Can you run the football? Probably not. But you know what? I ain't handing the ball to 15 anymore. 23 is getting every touch I can give him.
Sure. He's
getting every touch. If you're showing me that I'm going to watch that Kansas City tape and it sounds like Kansas City ran the football. You know what? I am sure in the hell trying. I sure in the hell am trying. Now maybe our line ain't good enough. Maybe I overrated them, tight ends, everybody. But you know what? I need a Pittsburgh game from you 23. That's what I need.
On that note, Brian, Segway Jones, I was listening to the head coach and, he was all like, man, we need to do this cross the hall, self scout stuff.
Right.
Implying that self scout can fix this. Saying that it could fix it is almost like you're implying that we have the talent and the players to do it. We just need to fix the little stuff internally, right? Brian, I know you and your guys at the G-Bag Nation, shouts out to those guys, 2-7, 105.3. You was talking about the next 5 or so games, 6 or so games. Do you think we have the dudes to win those games? Like, do you think we have the talent to win those games? Assuming self-scout works, Brian. That's my whole point. Assuming self-scout works and we coming out of this bye week like we did last week, coming out that bye week, and we turn into that team from last year, do we have the dudes to be competitive in this next 6 games or so? Assuming self-scout works.
I don't think you have the depth. But the dudes, you probably don't have the dudes. You probably don't have the dudes. Because I asked my guys this question, Voch. I'll throw this one back at you too.
Please.
I asked this question to my guys. And I said, and I'm interested to hear your answer, and I'll give my answer afterwards. Will the Cowboys offense look differently after the bye?
Well, Brian, there's an inside joke on this show where we hilariously accuse Mike McCarthy saving all the good plays for later in the season.
Sure.
And when you listen to him talk, he kind of says that, right? He said, yeah, we got to implement the schemes and the strategies and we got to build off this. You know what I mean? When you listen to Mike McCarthy, it sounds like he's saving the good plays for the second half of the season, which is crazy, by the way. But man, I would hate to ride the fence on. I hope so. Brian. Yeah. I hope that we come out looking like a brand new offense. But I tell you what, Voch says this: Pittsburgh was the best offensive play calling wise, was the best we've done all year. There were turnovers that kept us out the end zone. We still need to fix red zone offense.
Red zone's the issue, yeah.
But as far as the offense goes, that was last year. Pittsburgh offense, that was last year. Yeah, we can do it again.
Sure.
Mike just got to get out of his way.
See, this is where now I struggle.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he'll look different.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think you can do anything with the offensive line. That's my problem.
Sure.
I don't know. Now, if you told me, and this was another question I asked, my sheet of paper here.
Yeah.
Would you leave Tyler Smith at left tackle to try and help the offense? Now, didn't sound like it worked all that well against maybe the Lions. Maybe there's other issues there bigger than that. But would you at least try to do it through this run? And if the season then, if it's a loss in Atlanta, then go back to Tyler Guyton at left tackle?
I think you have to play the rookie, Brian.
Go with the rookie?
I think you have to play the rookie.
This is why I don't think the offense will be different. Because I don't know if you can do anything to really help this offensive line. Now, maybe the play caller can help this offensive line.
That's exactly where I was going, Brian. By no means should there be a situation where somebody's one-on-one with Tyler Guyton and we in empty or something and there's no help. We just can't do that.
Yeah, but they will. They will, because, we watch these games and 85% of the time either Steele or whoever the left tackle is by himself in these games.
Yeah.
But I don't think the offense is going to be dramatically different like it was last year. I don't, because you know what? I did a little metrics work. Just curious of numbers. I just get curious with numbers. And the routes that say CeeDee Lamb's running right now, the routes that they're getting are the same routes that they ran last year after the bye. Same routes.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is he's not 26 of 30 on slants.
Mm-hmm.
He's half that. He's 6 of 15 for, his numbers for those routes that they had success on after the bye last year are all trending the wrong way, with the exception of the curls and hooks and stuff like that. That's the only thing that they can hang their hat on for him, for CeeDee Lamb.
Sure.
That's the only thing they can hang their hat on. The routes that he had success on are routes they currently run, and they're not running them as successfully as they did last year after the bye.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a problem.
Well, you have to earn those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like slants never go away. Everybody runs them. But if you run slants, obviously, then a defender will be able to sit down on your slant.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, man, where was CD like vertically outside the numbers? Like this year, right?
Yeah.
Vertical routes outside the numbers and
All
stuff.
the go routes have numbers,
Yeah,
but not the success rate.
sure.
You know, the vertical routes are where he had some success.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the post was a big route for him. I haven't seen a post this year, I don't believe, that's been connected on.
Hey.
See, this is what gives me pause about saying that the offense will be different and across the hall was successful this year.
Sure.
Because where are they going to turn? They're going to are they completely adjust the offense in 5 days? You know, he talked about more practice time with team concepts and less individual.
Mm-hmm.
He might be having problems with his team understanding what they're trying to do, and he has to practice more team instead of more individual work.
Just in case that may have gone over somebody's head, you know, sometimes we run a lot of drills where it's just I'm doing this, Brian's doing this. We're just taking turns one by one. But sometimes we can run more run whole where all 5 of us come together and just
all
run
5 works together,
and just run plays. And you need to do that sometimes so that we can understand why we're doing something or like why we're running a certain kind of play. For example, Cooper Beebe can run one-on-one pass rush all day, and he can sit down on people and he'll be fantastic. But we need to run more gap exchange drills with BB and 2 guards so that we could be ready for slants and backers and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is something that you and I'm not tooting our horn here, but this is something you and I, when you watch the tape and you say, what's Cooper Beebe's biggest issues?
Yeah.
We said this in the Ravens game.
Yeah,
we said it Saints game.
Toot that damn horn.
And then Mike McCarthy's like, yeah, we're getting a lot more twist front.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, hell yeah, you're getting a lot more twist front because the guy's struggling picking up twists.
Sure.
But, you know, we're addressing it here in week 7.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what about week 3, week 4?
Training camp.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian, you want to know why they couldn't do it in training camp? Because Brock Hoffman was starting and BB was over there with the threes. That's why they couldn't work on that shit.
I was watching him block Mozzie Smith all day.
That's why they couldn't identify it in training camp because BB was over there with the threes. Then all of a sudden, week 1, they want to do the right thing. That's a problem, Brian. That's a problem. But that's the head coach, though. That's the head coach.
Brian, I hope things are different. I just don't feel like. I feel like they're using a lot of the same routes they used last year in the second half. They're just not having the success with CD with them. But I just think this offensive line, I don't know where the improvement is going to come from. And you can say, well, the improvement is BB's getting experience. And then depending on if they play Guyton, you know, well, he's getting experience. Maybe we get better. You know, that's the Mike Solari line. Oh, no, we just keep practicing, keep playing. We'll get better. You know, well, we'll get better. And then the next thing you know, it's week 16 and you really hadn't gotten better, but you got your guy a lot of experience, or the guy's a lot of experience. Bothers me. This whole thing, by the way, Bosh, this whole thing about practice and how they're practicing bothers me.
It's nonsense, ain't it? It's nonsense that we got to go to practice. Yeah, I know. Tell
well, it bothers me that people are saying we're not practicing. Well, the effort, the GPS numbers, everything's good, but we're not having good practices at time. And I'm like, this is, you know, I understand a bad practice, but I don't understand it every time that you get blown out that people have to stand up there and talk about. You know why that is? Because they don't have another answer.
They don't know nothing else,
That is the low-hanging fruit answer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the, well, just gotta play better, gotta execute better. No. Physically, you get beat up front. You're not strong enough. You don't get off blocks. You know, there's a lot more to this but you know, the answer is always, well, we need to prep, need to be a pros, need to get in our books a little more, need to figure out our assignments a little more. It's an inexcusable thing.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the go-to answer when you get your ass handed to you. Well, need to have some better practices. No, it drives me nuts. If I was Jerry, the general manager, I would be like losing my S right now over this. Why do every time you stand up there and talk that I hear about practices, and why is the quarterback talking about it, and why are other players talking about it? What is your disconnect at practice? Obviously, they felt like more team period would be good. You know, maybe they thought that.
Bryan, do you think Dak agrees with Troy Aikman? You damn right. That's a good question. You damn right, Voch. That's a good call. Please.
I wasn't going to give you that credit.
Okay, I'm sorry. But you can answer the question. Go ahead and answer that question. Do you think Dak agrees with Troy Aikman?
Actually, a damn good question.
Yeah, damn right.
Me personally, I've said this. I think I've been pretty consistent on some platforms. I don't see great route running receivers. I think the last great route running receiver I saw for the Dallas Cowboys was Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
I think that Cooks is very capable because of his quickness. I think Turpin could be a good route runner. The problem is Turpin has zero experience running routes because he doesn't get a lot of work. You know, he got covered on the 4th and 2 on the return route, the pivot route, smash route, whatever you want to call it. He just doesn't have, he tried to separate. Arnold was all over him. If he had maybe a little bit more experience, he'd have known how to sell that thing a little better and then get back inside and get the ball. But he does. They don't have great route runners. It's just, this is where, and I'm not trying to take a slam at Troy Aikman. I respect Troy Aikman. I'll say this. Troy Aikman watches tape a lot less of Dallas Cowboy football than he once did. Because he's got Monday Night Football responsibilities. He does not see the Dallas Cowboys like his Fox responsibilities.
Sure.
He saw them
every week.
Every week. Every week. When he was on Fox, every week. And if Troy Aikman said, well, I noticed this on tape, I'm thinking, well, Troy's had the Cowboys now 4 straight weeks. He's watching that tape. He's going out there and talking at practice. He's doing all that stuff. I respect Troy Aikman. This is not a slam at him. I just wonder, is he if he would come out and say, listen, one of my things I do every week is sit down and watch Cowboys tape. If he did that, I would say, okay, then I stand corrected.
Sure.
But I kind of feel like where I don't agree with him is I think what's perceived or determined by him as lazy routes are guys that just don't know how to separate and don't have the quickness that you see from other teams around the league.
Sure.
I think that's the biggest issue with this. Tolbert, people say, well, Lamb's a good route runner. They don't separate. This team does not separate. This quarterback throws more tight window balls than any other quarterback in the league. They don't separate. You could talk about their lazy route runners and all that. They're just not explosive route runners. Cooper was explosive. Cooks can be explosive. Tolbert, explosive? Not really. CD, explosive? Not really. CD's really good when he gets momentum. Move him, let him. He's really good at kind of playing that way. But you remember Amari Cooper, how he sets guys up. Hard outside shoulder. Bam. Hits off that left foot, gets inside. Hard at that guy. Drive him off the ball. All of a sudden, guys into his pedal. Feels the weight, sees his weight sinking as he's hits the brakes, comes back to the ball. That's route running, bro.
Yeah.
That's buying yourself separation and all that. That's where I disagree with Troy. I just don't think I think they have route runners. I just don't think they have really good route runners. Any thoughts on that yourself?
No, I agree. I think the last great route runner here was Cooper and Cole Beasley. But I think
Cole Beasley, really good call there.
I think as a coach, you got to understand your personnel. You got to understand who you are. So you can't ask your guys to get open, run around.
If you're playing stationary all day.
Bryan, I remember I did this video.
Yeah.
It's one of my biggest videos on this channel. I'm very proud of it. Amari Cooper ran a slant 7 different ways, and I broke them all down. Y'all go find that video on my channel. It was a beauty and this is when he first got here, and I was used to Dez Bryant just kind of throwing his head and running the slant. Yeah. And then I saw Coop start kung fuing Brian. I say, man, I understand route running so much better. We don't have one of those guys. But when you have that guy, you could be like, all right, Coop, run a slant. Yeah. CeeDee Lamb runs the same slant every time. CeeDee Lamb doesn't have 7, 8, 9 different slants or whatnot. But what you have to do, boy, Brian, we love to just show love to San Francisco, man. We can't be showing love to San Francisco on damn San Francisco. A common theme, Brian, if you go back to Debo when he was at South Carolina, if you look at Brandon Ayuk when he was at Arizona State, Juwan Jennings at Tennessee, those dudes ranked very highly in the nation as yak guys. So what the San Francisco 49ers did was they built their team around a certain type of guy. You know what I mean? They don't really have a starting 5 basketball team where they just got a whole bunch of different people. They got guys that can fill in whenever. So if Brandon Ayuk gets hurt, Juwan Jennings come in and get 140 some yards or whatever.
Ricky Pearsall now.
Pearsall is another. Yeah. So what they do is they just create this scheme around yak guys, and they get yak guys open with motion. Yeah. I would love for my play caller to get guys open with motion because they're not going to get open on their own.
Nope. When you ask Tolbert and Lamb to start from stationary and run a route, it's going to take them a little time to do it. It's not lazy, Troy. It's just they're not explosive players. Yeah. They're but you get CeeDee Lamb the ball in space and let him run. That CeeDee Lamb in Oklahoma would wear them out playing on the move.
Sure.
I'm totally with you. I think you have to look at your personnel and think, first off, I would, if I'm Jerry Jones or Stephen Jones, I do go to Mike McCarthy and I do say, just Troy Aikman says our routes are, what do you think about that? Well, or I go up to Robert Prince, the receivers coach. Robert, just Troy Aikman saying, maybe Robert can explain to him like, well, hey, we're built differently. We don't have the Amari Cooper that you're used to. We don't have that guy. So what you have to do is you have to think about ways, bunch formations, scatter, motion, run a twin set in motion, make it into trips, scatter. That's stuff you have to kind of do.
Sure.
And I don't know how much confidence this play caller has in his offensive line. That's why I think that Tyler Smith has played left tackle. I don't think he has a lot of confidence in his offensive line right now to hold up like he needs it to.
I guess we're just waiting on Chuma and Doga to come back so we can be good again. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all want to look, stay tuned all week. Don't you turn that down, ladies and gentlemen. We will be talking about the San Francisco 49ers all week. We're going to treat this like it's the biggest game of the year because in real life, it absolutely is.
It is.
Yeah, this is definitely a make or break. Look, all the games have been must wins. This is a must win for your ass. So please stay tuned in to the Doing All Right podcast because Voch and Bryan Broaddus is going to cover every single angle of it. Y'all be sure to tap into Voch Lombardi on social media. I ain't talking about nothing. But Bryan Broaddus is where the magic happens, all right? Tap in with him on Twitter, and he'll be responding to your comments and questions in the comments at 5 o'clock in the morning, all right? Love y'all to peace. Go watch the game. It is a good one. Ravens and Buccaneers. Y'all hold it down. I'll catch you next time. Crown.